Normally, we expect a happy ending from the shows we grow to love watching for such a long time, right? But not all stories end with happiness, and some of them actually leave us shocked and disturbed. So today, we're going to talk about the most disturbing show endings ever made. Let's go back to the 90s with Dinosaurs, a sitcom where dinosaurs lived like humans. It was funny, silly, and lighthearted until its shocking final episode that left audiences disturbed and sad.
Dinosaurs has to have one of the most soul-crushing endings of all time. In the final episode, the migration of the bunch beetles is delayed, causing the cider poppies to overgrow and choke out the ecosystem. In an attempt to fix it, Earl, the father, convinces the dinosaurs to use chemical pesticides which destroys all plant life. Then to reverse that mistake, they try to artificially create rain clouds using volcanoes, which ends up triggering a global ice age. Slowly, the realization sets in. Earl Sinclair has accidentally caused the extinction of his entire species. The final scene is haunting. Earl, sitting with his family in their home, tries to stay optimistic, telling them everything will be fine, while the news anchor grimly reports the freezing temperatures and darkness spreading across the world. At the very end, the baby Dino then asks, "What will happen to us?" Earl and his family just sit there silently. They don't have an answer, because deep down, they know the truth. The camera then pans out as the show ends with no happy ending.
Wow, the show was always a little creepy to me. But this ending is so depressing, and I feel so bad for the dinosaurs. The tension in the room as they all realize they won't survive just breaks my heart. Such a funny show should have gotten a happier, light-hearted ending, but just like the real dinosaurs, that never happened. Now, have you ever heard of a show called Alf? Alf was a comedy from the late 80s and early 90s about a furry alien living with a suburban family. It was usually light-hearted, but the final episode took a dark turn that left fans stunned.
Alf was an interesting culture icon in the late 80s. Despite being an ugly, hairy-looking pig alien, he was loved by audiences around the country. People seemed to be very attached to Alf during this time, especially children, but for some reason directors chose to end the series in a very dark and disturbing way. In the series finale titled "Consider Me Gone," Alf receives a radio transmission from some of his friends back on his home planet Melmac. They tell him that they've purchased a new planet and want his help in creating a new civilization there.
Oh, you're not gonna believe this!
What does it say?
They're coming to get me!
Who's coming to get you?
My friends, Skip and Rhonda. They've been trying to contact me for days. Seems they bought a new planet, and they want me to join them in the beginning of a new Melmac.
However, the alien task force of the US military intercepts the transmission, and Alf is captured by them before he can head home. From the very first episode, the alien task force made their intentions very clear with plans to burn, freeze, electrocute, poison, physically torture, and dissect him.
Usual battery of tests. We'll see how it responds to intense heat, freezing cold, high voltage, toxic substances, pain, sleep deprivation, inoculation. That's needles. And of course, dissection.
The show ends with them capturing Alf and finally doing all that to him, leaving it up to the audience to decide on Alf's fate.
Alf was always meant to be funny and family-friendly, but that ending just hits completely different. Instead of getting rescued, he's captured, and it leaves you with this empty feeling, like his whole story never got the closure it deserved. It feels almost cruel for such a goofy, fun show, and it makes you imagine what the government probably did to poor Alf after that. Little Einsteins was a cheerful kids show made to teach music and creativity. It was one of my favorite shows growing up, but the theories and rumors about how it really ended make it much creepier than anyone would expect.
The sad ending of the Little Einsteins. Airing on Disney in 2005 and ending on December 22nd in 2009, the Little Einsteins were a group of kids ranging from the ages of 5 to 7 years old, with their names being Annie, Quincy, Leo, and Jude. And using their smartness and their voices, they would go around saving the day. But eventually that would all come to an end, because one day Quincy's enjoying his day outside, and decided to drive the ship that they always drove around by himself. And getting off the ground into the sky was the easiest part, but eventually Quincy would lose control when a massive jet would come by, not seeing him, setting him off balance, making him crash. Later that day, Leo would get the news and find out that Quincy had died in a plane crash, and it took him a lot, but he had to tell everybody. When Leo told everybody, they couldn't believe it. All they could think about was going on missions wasn't going to be the same without Quincy. Next episode, they would replace him with another animal, do a memorial where his kind is from.
Thinking about little Einsteins having a dark theory or creepy ending completely changes how you see it. A show created to teach kids about music and art suddenly feels unsettling, like there's something darker hiding under all that cheerful energy. It's strange how an innocent show can feel twisted once you think about how it might have ended for some of those characters. Let's talk about Camp Lazlo. It was a silly Cartoon Network series about a group of campers and all their wacky adventures. But the way it ended left fans shocked with an ending no one could have predicted.
That's him, officer! That's the bad moose who locked me in the closet all summer and stole my job as scoutmaster. He fooled all of you. He's an impostor, a fake, and worse, he is no scoutmaster of Camp Kidney! I'll get you for this, coach. Here! I'm a genius, you know! I'm a genius!
That reveal still feels so unsettling to this day. A kids' show where the main adult authority figure, Scoutmaster Lumpus, is secretly an imposter the whole time is honestly disturbing. It makes you wonder how many clues were hidden throughout the show and what other dark secrets Camp Kidney could have been hiding all along. Now, let's move on to The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, which is one of my all-time favorite Cartoon Network shows. With its strange humor and creepy art style, it already felt unsettling, but the ending pushed things even further into weird and disturbing territory, and I just can't make sense of it.
I didn't know Kitty could do that.
Yeah.
What happened to you, Bubby?
Oh, baby. I got so depressed when you left, I just couldn't stop eating candy.
I guess we'll have to find a new place to live.
I guess we will, baby. I guess we will.
Like, what even was that? Flapjack was already one of the weirdest and creepiest cartoons ever made, but the ending just made it feel even more disturbing. The uncomfortable art style mixed with the way things wrapped up feels almost like a nightmare. It's also disappointing that we never actually got to Candy Island. Now we come to Teen Titans. The finale of the show doesn't even feel like a real ending. That ending always hits me so hard. Seeing Beast Boy realize Terra isn't coming back is one of the saddest ways to close her story.
Why the Teen Titans ending is so sad and can possibly make you cry. Now, if you grew up with the Teen Titans, you probably remember Terra, but I'll give you a brief backstory. Now, we get introduced to Terra in the episode Aftershock, Part 1. And the Teen Titans come across her while she's fighting a giant scorpion, in which she leads into a trap and kills. She's then recruited by Robin and joins the Teen Titans. And the Titans would later find out that Terra isn't confident in controlling her powers. But the Titans and Beast Boy were her friends and would help her get over the trauma that her powers have caused her. Eventually, Beast Boy and Terra would start getting closer to one another, followed by a lot of flirting. But this would all stop when the truth was revealed that Terra was a doppelganger the whole time for Slade. She was undercover and really wasn't their friend. But turns out Terra was being manipulated the whole time by Slade. And when she tried to confront him, she realized she was being controlled by him and couldn't overpower him. Fast forward, Beast Boy finds Slade's hideout and attempts to save Terra. But sadly, Terra's still under the control of Slade, hence why one of her eyes are covered, just like Slade's. Eventually, it gets to the point where Terra's about to kill Beast Boy, and eventually Terra takes back control of herself. Terra overpowering the control Slade had on her results into Slade seemingly getting knocked off a cliff, with his mask floating in the lava. But it's later foreshadowed in another episode that Slade actually survived this, when Robin finds his mask. After quote-unquote defeating Slade, Beast Boy goes up to Terra, and tells her we have to leave because the volcano's about to erupt. But Terra, knowing that the volcano will destroy the whole city, has to stay, as she's the only one that can stop it. So she cries and hugs Beast Boy for the last time, and told him, "You're the best friend I ever had," and soon sacrificed herself. Amazingly, Terra did save the city, but sadly she didn't make it. as the sad Titans would arrive and thank her for what she's done, while also putting on her grave that Terra is a Teen Titan and a true friend. Now in the last episode Aftershock Part 2, Beast Boy and the Titans are fighting a monster when a rock is thrown in front of a crowd, and in that crowd Beast Boy sees Terra, and later would go to the cave where her grave is located and find out she's no longer there as statued.
For a cartoon that was usually full of action and fun, this arc feels way too real, like it was meant to show us how painful loss can really be. And now, a bonus show for those of you who stayed until the end. Let's talk about the original planned ending of SpongeBob SquarePants. Of course, the show is still running, but the original idea for the ending was way darker and more disturbing than you would ever think.
Did you know that the original ending for SpongeBob wasn't just going to be dark, but it also would probably have made you cry? For those of you who don't know, SpongeBob, Sponge on the Run, actually went through a pretty wild developmental phase. But the first iteration of the movie was SpongeBob and his friends fighting a gang of anthropomorphic cat aliens hell-bent on taking over Earth. The movie was supposed to be an epic adventure that did have a big focus on the relationship between SpongeBob and Gary. And actually, they got so far in the developmental stage that there is a storyboard of what the ending of the movie was supposed to be, in which we see that SpongeBob and Gary are flying alone on a ship heading towards a black hole. And honestly, this scene is really emotional, where we see that SpongeBob and Gary are spending their last few moments together before heading into the unknown. And apparently, after entering the black hole, it was supposed to cut back to the help wanted sign, signifying that yes, the entirety of SpongeBob is a time loop, which would mean that SpongeBob and his friends were going to have to relive the exact same cycle for eternity. But unfortunately, the idea was scrapped for the original movie, which focused on Neptune wanting to use Gary for some sort of anti-aging thing.
Don't you agree it's just too weird? Knowing what SpongeBob's ending was originally supposed to be changes everything. A show that's usually so bright and fun almost had one of the darkest endings imaginable. It makes you realize how different SpongeBob could have been if they actually went through with that idea. Alright, that's all for today, Peonies. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.